Have you ever found yourself sitting in your favorite chair, staring out the window, wondering, is this it? Is this what life after retirement is supposed to feel like? Maybe the house is quiet, the calendar is less full, and the days seem to blend together. You're grateful for the rest, but somewhere deep inside, you miss that spark. That feeling of being alive, of waking up with purpose, energy, even excitement. If that's you, trust me, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. Because here's the truth that doesn't get said enough: retirement isn't the end of the road. It's the beginning of an entirely new chapter, one where you finally get to live life on your own terms. But to do that, you need something more than just free time. You need rhythm. You need rituals. Simple, daily choices that make you feel strong, clear, and connected to yourself, to the world, and to the people you love. That's what we're diving into today. Not routines that drain you or long checklists that overwhelm you, but 4 small daily rituals that can completely change how you feel, move, and think, starting now. So let's begin right where every great day should, the moment you open your eyes. There's something sacred about the first 10 minutes after waking up. Your mind is quiet. The world hasn't rushed in yet. It's a window of opportunity, a chance to set the tone for everything that follows. And yet, so many of us start our mornings in a state of reaction. We reach for the phone. We turn on the news. We immediately put our brain into overdrive. But what if you did something different? What if the first thing you did was breathe? Just sit up in bed, place your feet on the floor, close your eyes, and take 5 slow, deep breaths. In through the nose, hold, and out through the mouth. Not rushed. Not robotic. Just you and your breath. Feel the air move through your body. Feel the way your shoulders drop a little more with each exhale. It sounds simple, maybe even silly, but this one ritual is powerful. It tells your nervous system, we're okay. We're grounded. Let's take on the day. It gives your brain clarity and your heart calm. And it creates a little space between sleep and life, so you step into your day with intention, not just out of habit. Some people like to follow this with a word of gratitude, just one thing they're thankful for that morning. It could be as big as a grandchild's hug, or as small as the sound of the birds outside. Gratitude is like sunlight for the soul. It warms you, it wakes you up, and it reminds you that joy still lives in the smallest of places. Now, once you've taken that breath, it's time to get the body moving, but don't worry, I'm not going to tell you to run 5 miles or do push-ups. In fact, what I'm about to suggest takes less than 10 minutes, and you can do it right in your living room. Here's the secret: motion creates emotion. If you want to feel more alive, you need to move. And not just for your muscles, but for your brain, your joints, your energy, and even your memory. So what does this movement look like? Start simple. Stand tall, roll your shoulders back, and begin with gentle stretches. Reach for the ceiling, slowly twist side to side, bend down as far as you comfortably can and come back up. Maybe do a few seated leg lifts if standing isn't easy. The goal here is to wake up the body. Tell it, hey, we're not shutting down today. We're showing up. Some people enjoy turning on soft music during this time. Something instrumental, uplifting, maybe even nostalgic. You'd be surprised what a little movement paired with music can do to lift your mood. 10 minutes later, your blood is flowing, your joints are looser, and your spirit? It's already a little brighter. And here's something worth remembering: the body doesn't stop moving because we age because we stop moving. The more gently and consistently you use your muscles, the more alive you'll feel. Not just physically, but mentally too. You might be thinking, that sounds good, but what if I haven't exercised in years? Don't let that stop you. This isn't about how far you can stretch or how strong you are. It's about choosing to show up. Every single day. Your body will meet you where you are, and it will thank you for it. Once the body is awake and the breath is flowing, there's a natural next step that many people overlook, but it can completely shift how you experience your day. It's the ritual of connection. Not scrolling through social media or watching cable news, but true, intentional connection. Because after retirement, one of the most silent but powerful feelings many people face is loneliness. Not the kind you talk about out loud, but that quiet sense of invisibility. Like the world's moving on and you're watching from the sidelines. That's why one small act of connection each morning can make such a difference. It could be a quick phone call to an old friend, a walk with a neighbor, a video chat with your kids or grandkids, or simply saying good morning to the barista at your local coffee shop and actually listening when they reply. Human connection keeps us sharp. It reminds us that we're still part of the story, that we matter. And it's not about quantity, it's about quality. One meaningful interaction a day is enough to boost your mood, lower stress, and remind you that life still has room for joy and laughter. So maybe tomorrow morning, after your breath and your stretch, you take a moment to write a short note to someone you care about. Or you make that call you've been putting off. Not because you have to, but because you want to feel alive again. Because that spark you're looking for? It's not gone. It's not buried. It's just waiting for you to show up. You've taken a breath. You've moved your body. You've connected with someone you care about, even in the smallest way. And already, something begins to shift. The day doesn't feel so heavy. There's a lightness, a presence, as if the world opened a little window and let some fresh air in. But there's one more piece that ties it all together, something so simple, yet often forgotten in the rush of errands, routines, and daily habits. It's the power of doing something just for you. Not for your spouse, not for your family, not because it's expected, but because it brings you joy. When we retire, we gain back time. But so many of us forget how to use it in a way that fills us up. Instead, we use that time to catch up on chores, watch TV, or replay the same old habits that never really made us happy to begin with. And yet, inside every person, no matter their age, there's still that childlike curiosity. The part of you that wants to learn, create, explore, or even just get lost in something that makes time disappear. That part of you doesn't retire. It just waits for you to remember it's still there. So here's the invitation. Carve out just 30 minutes each day to do something that feeds your spirit. Something that's yours. It might be painting, gardening, writing a few lines in a journal, or learning something new, a language, an instrument, a recipe from a different culture. Maybe it's reading a book that transports you somewhere else or sitting with a puzzle that makes you forget what time it is. It doesn't have to be productive. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to make you feel alive. I once spoke with a gentleman in his late 70s who, after his wife passed, felt like all the color had drained from his life. The house was quiet, his days were quiet, and so was his mind. Until one day, he picked up the old harmonica he hadn't touched in 40 years. At first, it felt awkward. Dusty. But within weeks, he was playing a little tune every morning on his front porch. People started waving as they walked by. Some even stopped to listen. And suddenly, he had something to look forward to each day, a sound that reminded him he was still here. Still a part of the world. That's what a personal ritual does. It gives your day shape. It gives your heart something to hold on to. And in that small, quiet joy, you rediscover a piece of yourself that might have been buried for years. Some days, that ritual might feel like the best part of your whole day. Other days, you might forget or skip it, and that's okay too. The point isn't perfection, it's presence. It's waking up and choosing to say, my day matters. My joy matters. I matter. And here's something else you might not expect. When you start honoring yourself in this way, it begins to affect everything else. Your conversations become richer. Your sleep becomes deeper. Even your health begins to respond. Because when you're doing something that makes you feel whole, your body listens. It relaxes. It heals. Now, you might be thinking, I don't know what brings me joy anymore. That's not uncommon. After years of working, raising a family, or caring for others, many of us forget how to tune into what we really want. But the good news is, joy isn't gone, it just needs a little coaxing. Start small. Try something new. Mess around. Take a walk with no destination and just notice what catches your eye. Let yourself be a beginner again. Let yourself laugh at something silly or get curious about something random. And give yourself permission to follow that feeling, even if it leads somewhere totally unexpected. Because here's the thing, the moment you stop chasing productivity and start chasing presence, something inside of you wakes up. And suddenly, retirement isn't just about filling time, it's about feeling alive in it. All of this builds into a life that doesn't just exist, but expands. A life where each day has shape, breath, movement, connection, and meaning. Where your mornings don't start with dread or apathy, but with a quiet confidence that says, yes, this day is mine. And here's where the magic really starts to take root. When you've built a day around these small, soul-nourishing rituals, your life begins to feel less like something that's winding down, and more like something that's unfolding. Evolving. Growing. Because the truth is, you are not done growing. Not even close. The world still has places for you. People still need your wisdom. But most importantly, you still need you. The truest version. The one that feels alive in your skin. So tomorrow, when you wake up, just breathe. Stretch. Call someone you love. And do one thing, just one, that makes your heart smile. You don't need a grand plan. You just need to begin. As the days begin to take on more meaning, something else quietly begins to shift. You stop counting the hours. You stop waiting for weekends or special occasions to feel joy. Because that joy? You're building it yourself, brick by brick, breath by breath, one small ritual at a time. But there's one more piece to this beautiful puzzle, and it might be the most powerful of all. It's the ritual of reflection. Not the kind that leaves you stuck in the past or drowning in regrets. But gentle, quiet reflection that helps you make sense of where you are, what you've lived through, and what still matters most to you. You see, as we age, the world often rushes us past this part. People assume you've figured it all out by now. That you've done your growing, and what's left is just coasting. But real reflection, honest, intentional reflection, can bring you peace, clarity, and even healing in ways nothing else can. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to write a novel or meditate on a mountain. It can be as simple as sitting down at the end of the day with a warm cup of tea and asking yourself one question: what touched my heart today? Maybe it was a smile from a stranger, the smell of a home-cooked meal, a memory that floated in out of nowhere. Maybe it was a hard moment you handled with grace. Or maybe it was just the way the light fell across your living room and made everything feel a little softer. These moments matter. And when you take time to notice them, to really see them, you start to feel like you're living in your life again, not just watching it go by. Some people like to keep a small notebook on their nightstand and jot down one sentence before bed. Not a list. Not a diary entry. Just one sentence that answers, what was real for me today? Over time, that notebook becomes a map, not of places you've been, but of the person you're becoming. Even now. Others might prefer to speak it aloud. Maybe to a loved one. Maybe in a quiet room, just to themselves. There's power in hearing your own voice say something that matters. It's like giving weight to your experience. Letting the day settle. Letting you settle. And what you'll find, if you do this even a few times a week, is that your days start to feel fuller. Not busier. Fuller. Because you're not letting life slip by unnoticed. You're meeting it with open eyes. With a softer heart. And that, in itself, is a kind of aliveness most people overlook. Now, I want to say something important here. Some days won't feel magical. Some days will be slow, hard, lonely, or simply ordinary. That's okay. Aliveness doesn't mean constant excitement. It doesn't mean everything feels perfect. It means you feel it, whatever it is. And you let it be part of your story, without running from it or numbing it away. In fact, the more you allow yourself to feel deeply, the more connected you become. To your past, to your present, and to the life you still have ahead of you. And make no mistake, you do have life ahead of you. Beautiful, meaningful, even surprising moments are still on their way. You haven't missed your shot. You haven't reached the end of your usefulness or joy. You're simply in a different chapter. One that you get to write. So let these rituals be your pen. Let your breath, your movement, your connections, your joys, and your reflections tell the story of someone who chose to show up for their life, even after the schedule changed. Even after the job ended. Even after the house got quieter. Let them tell the story of someone who didn't just survive retirement, but who came alive in it. Because the truth is, feeling alive after 60 isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. And what matters most is never the biggest thing, it's the smallest. The breath you remembered to take. The stretch that reminded you of your strength. The phone call that made you smile. The moment of stillness before sleep that said, "Today, I lived." That's it. That's the secret. Not more hustle. Not chasing after youth. Just slowing down enough to hear what your heart's been trying to tell you for years. You're still here. And that's a gift. So take the gift. Unwrap it slowly. And treat every day like it's the start of something new. Because in many ways, it truly is. Now, if this video touched you, or if you're going to try even one of these rituals this week, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. This is your space. And your story matters. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more conversations just like this, about living fully, aging wisely, and feeling deeply alive in every season of life. And until next time, take a deep breath, stand a little taller, and remember, you are not done yet. You are just getting started.